This episode of the Offroad Show is brought to you by Jeep Action Magazine. Now available everywhere online in the digital version. Check it out at jeepaction.com.au. This show's homebrew truck is Mick from Karora and his Jeep Cherokee Ute.
This was a 1981 Cherokee Chief, which was a two-door wagon, and it's now been cut into a ute. They were assembled in Australia by Jeep Australia in the 1980s. Came out in CKD, which is a complete knockdown form, and just reassembled here in Australia. The body panels were separate, the chassis was separate. Virtually just came in piles and assembled here and painted here and sold out. Yeah, all the body panels were made in the States and assembled here. Local content was seats and seat fabric and carpets, paint, tyres, that type of stuff. So I've had it for 15 years. It was still a wagon, which remained for about 8 years like that for our touring with the family. We converted it to a 7-seater, fit the 4 children in, and the 18-foot van on the back, and travel around different parts of Australia. Children started getting their own Jeeps, didn't need a wagon so much. Always liked the thought of having a ute. So we attacked it one day and cut the roof off and made a ute out of it. We popped the back windows out of the two-door body and then cut it through, cut along the sides and actually lifted the roof and side panels all off as one unit. And then we purchased a rear window and panel from a J20, which is a ute, a Jeep ute, and we used that to form our back panel in behind the seats. Caps to the top around the edges and finished her off. Yeah, the front doors are all original. From the doors forward is still original windscreen and roof lining and bonnets. Front guards have been changed out as well. When we first cut into a ute, we kept the original looking flares, which were metal flares, quite a nice shape, but started getting a bit knocked around out in the bush. So we went for the new style we've got here now, which is just a piece of cheap plastic cut in and easy to replace, cheap to replace. Roll bar was fitted a couple of years ago, and it got a new paint job into the khaki colour also a couple of years ago when we done the new flares. Front bar is probably the latest addition. That's actually a Mopar front bar made for the JK Wrangler. We got that and fabricated it to fit here, which the width was okay. Just took off the hoop and mounted it onto the chassis of the full-size Cherokee here. Mounted in a winch. That's the newest addition. In the bonnet, which is the original bonnet with some scoops, just to help get some hot air out. This vehicle came out with a 360 AMC V8 engine, which I ran 2 of them originally when I got it. And then I went for a V8 diesel. Ran that for a couple of years, didn't have a lot of success. And now running a 350 throttle body injected Chev engine. It's been a good choice, nice and cheap to buy. The throttle body injection's good for up in the bush. Doesn't worry about hills and steepness, just keeps going. So that's been in there for a couple of years now. It's mated to a turbo 400 automatic gearbox, L 3-speed, and that's connected to a 208 transfer case, which is standard transfer case in it. We had to get an adapter to adapt the transfer case to the turbo 400 gearbox. We got a Chev pattern turbo 400 gearbox that bolted straight to the Chev, so we don't have adapter plates there at the engine, and just the adapter plate at the transfer case.
This Cherokee is a truck that commands respect, and not just because of the vintage, but because of the capabilities. And you know how now and then you come across a truck with real presence. Well, the Chief is one of those.
We like the transfer case, it's pretty trouble-free. It's chain driven, but the chain only drives when you're in four-wheel drive, so most of the time it's not doing any work. In the diffs, this came with a Dana 44, which it still has. We've just converted it to 8-stud wheel pattern to match the rear. So it's still a Dana 44 front. The rear is a Dana 60, which is an upgrade from the AMC 20 differential that was in it when I got it. We went a little bit wider. It's actually out of a Dodge Power Wagon. So it's a good strong Dana 60, and we've also upgraded it to take 35 spline axles, full float. So it's had an upgrade there as well. Running 4/5/6 ratios and ARB air locker front and rear. The springs are still the original springs, just re-arched. Tend not to like to go too high with the suspension, and running Rancho adjustable shock absorbers. Yeah, the body also has been lifted 3 inches, just to give us some clearance for these big tyres we're running. My main lift with the vehicle is with the body lift. It says 3-inch body lift, and then my main clearance is with the tyres, which is what we need to get the diffs up off the ground. So running 37-inch tyres, Pro Comp X-Train, and it's proven to be a really good tyre. I go down to about 8 or 10 pound in them for the hard yakka, 20 if we're just going out and having a bit of a drive in the bush, and 30 on the road. The 350 engine really pushes the vehicle along good. It's a pretty big Jeep. Tyres take a fair bit of turning, and tow the caravan a fair bit with it when we're going camping with the local Jeepers. So the engine really goes along nicely, and the throttle body injection is a real bonus. To go along with the throttle body injection, we fitted a XJ Cherokee fuel tank in the rear. So this gave us a fuel tank from a fuel injected vehicle, so we don't have any issues with getting fuel to the engine in the hills or along the road. It's just one pump in the tank straight through to the engine. The interior of the Chief is fairly standard. It's got some olive drab in there. The seats are standard. They've been lifted 50 mil, so you can serve the bonnet a bit better. We've also got a different shifter for the gearbox. It's actually out of an International Scout. The door cards have been replaced with checker plate, which have been cut out so we can actually use the inside of the door as a compartment for carrying snatch straps and personal items. We're running an onboard air system tank on the side of the chassis underneath the passenger's door, and that is for pumping up tyres and running air tools if needed. The build's an ongoing process like all four-wheel drives. You just keep learning and doing different things, then you want a different application for your vehicle. But it's pretty much the stage where I want it now. It's just a matter of keeping it on the road and keeping things fixed, and the whole thing's been engineered. So as it sits here now, it's full engineered, cleared through the registration, so it's good to know that's done. The Chief is set up well for off-roading now. I can hop in it, drive north or south to a major city, and know I can get there in quite comfort, and it can tow well. So yeah, it's just a good all-rounder to be able to do everything. You can get some smaller, better off-road machines, but a bit more restricted with your travelling and room for carrying things. The two-door Cherokee Chief in Australia is a rare vehicle, and to have one cut into a ute is even rarer. I like mine because it's practical, it's unique, it's got a lot of character, and it can never be said there's too many Chiefs.
Well, that's a turn up. Normally on the Offroad Show, there's not enough Indians. So come on, off-roaders, send us a photo of your rig. We're always looking for new trucks to feature and places to go. And if you want to see more of the Chief, visit theoffroadshow.com.